Welcome to this session. Even before I get started, I want to quickly tell you all a few things that we are 360 Digit MG, Digital Transformation Management and Governance. All right, and we have recently launched domain analytics trainings also. Okay, and yep, anyone attending the data science training or anyone who is into the stream of data analytics can attend this particular webinar. It's relevant. So as part of domain analytics, we have 56 plus programs, which includes life sciences, healthcare analytics, financial analytics, marketing analytics, HR analytics, supply chain, cybersecurity analytics, and data science for internal auditors, sports analytics, you name it. We have those programs. Welcome to 360 Digit MG. Digit stands for digital transformation, M for management because we need to manage the data, and G stands for governance. We need to govern the data. We have recently got 2 accreditations from 2 different prestigious universities. One is called as UTM Malaysia, University Technology Malaysia. Our students who have in the past undergone data science training and who would be undergoing data science training and who are currently undergoing data science training can get a certificate from University of Malaysia directly. However, for this, you will have to take an exam, a written exam, which is multiple choice. When I say written, it's a multiple choice exam. It's conducted online. Sorry, written, I think I have to take back that word. And then you'll also have to do a project. You can opt 2 things. One is you might want to go to Malaysia, stay there for a month, work on the live project, and then go to university directly and collect your certificate. Or you would be given 7 days. From the date of receiving that project, you will have to complete the project and submit to the university in a defined format. Based on these 2 stages, one is the online multiple choice question exam, another is this project, you would be awarded the certificate. It carries its own value. It's one of the top 5 universities in Malaysia. We have also got City and Guilds, which is UK university basically. And City and Guilds has 150 plus years of history. It is backed by Queen of England, and people who do not do graduation actually undergo City and Guilds certification program in UK and they get placed. That's the kind of value this carries. And we are giving this certificate to our participants who enroll for both data science and AI. That's one program for which we are giving this. And we have recently launched our 11 months intensive, very intensive rather, full stack data science program, right? And we have a job placement guarantee for that. No doubt people would get placed, right? And that program is also, students who undergo that program will also receive City and Guilds assured certificate. All right. Having said this, let's move on. This also is the same. You'll have to take an exam, multiple choice exam. You'll have to get 70% and above. And then you'll also have to work on a live project. Okay, 7 days. They give you the data set. They give you the business problem. From the date of receiving that, you'd be given approximately 7 days, 7 to 10 days, right? Depending on the complexity of the project. And you'll have to submit that. All right, welcome to the webinar on data collection and design of experiments. When it comes to data collection, there are predominantly 2 modes of data collection, right? We will discuss that. We will discuss about data collection paradigm and design of experiments paradigm. Okay, first thing, even before I get into data collection paradigm, I wish to tell you all that there are 2 modes of data collection. One is called as secondary source. Another is primary source. secondary data collection mechanism, and primary data collection mechanism. Let me open a Word document to quickly type a few things. Okay, just give me a minute for this. Okay, here we go. So let me open a new document and let me quickly type here. So the first and foremost step on any data science project is to understand the business problem. Once you understand the business problem, you have to collect the data. Any data scientist or data analyst or artificial intelligence expert has to first get hold of data, right? We have two modes of data collection. One is primary data collection mechanism or primary data sources. And then you have secondary data collection or secondary data collection, a data source, basically, right? Here, if you have data which is collected beforehand, data collected beforehand, okay, that data is called as secondary data source. What are a few examples for that? If you have data in your customer relationship management database or relational database management system or your financial risk management database or your hospital management system or your warehouse management system, and the list would go on and on. If the data is collected beforehand, and if it is available for you to just go and pick for your analysis, that is called as secondary data collection. The good thing is it is already available, so you'll get it for free, okay? Or you will get it for, you'll get without putting in any effort, so it is easily available. However, the flip side of this is that you may or may not have data required for your analysis. You may or may not have all the data required for your analysis. So if you do not have specific variables for your analysis, then you resort to primary data collection mechanism. Okay, and a good example here would be conducting surveys and experiments. That is exactly what we are going to discuss. And of course, this is costly. It should be carefully thought out. Conducting surveys is no easy task, right? And conducting experiment is also equally costly. You need to conduct field experiments and all that. It's costly, it is time consuming. However, the good thing is you get exactly the data that you need for your analysis. You get exact data which is needed for analysis, all right? So this is something that you might want to bear in mind. As part of our webinar, we are going to discuss about two things, okay? Of course, as part of our current data science program, we have included comprehensive data collection and comprehensive experimentation modules, so that you also understand about primary data collection mechanism, and that is what industry is expecting now. Okay, even before you conduct the survey, you have to go back and look at your business problem. Remember, the first step is to understand the business problem. And the business problem is usually a messy reality. It's not carefully defined by you or your customer, right? They will have a vague, statement that, you know what, my sales are low. For that messy reality, you have to come up with decision problem. Hey, conducting surveys is no easy task, friends. Once you understand the decision problem, you have to break it down into research objective. Once you have research objective, you conduct survey and then you get the data for analysis. Okay. And the messy reality is really messy. Customer would just say, hey, my sales are low. Can you please help me solve this? Right. Yep. To solve that, the first thing is you have to define your decision problem. What does that mean? You can, based on your messy problem, do a cause and effect analysis, like your fishbone diagram or 5 why analysis, and then try to identify the probable causes for your problem. And these could be most probable causes that my sales are low because the product line is obsolete, or the sales are low because the customer connect is ineffective. My sales are low because the product pricing is uncompetitive. All these could be the reasons. Now, you as business person or the business owner should help your data science team figure out the probable causes. Okay, and you as data scientists need to have the domain knowledge to be able to sit with the business owner and come up with these kind of probable causes. Once you have the probable causes in hand, you need to define business decision problem. Okay, and the decision problem for this first probable causes: should new products be introduced? Why? Because you're saying that the probable causes product line is obsolete. The decision problem for the second cause is: should advertising campaign be changed? Because you're saying that as of now, customer connect is ineffective. And for the third probable cause, we have a decision problem which says, should product prices be changed? Why? Because the product pricing is uncompetitive. Once we have these decision problems in place, we have to move ahead to the next step. And what is that next step? Come up with research objective. So you have a messy reality. You identified the decision problems from the probable causes. Then you have come up with a research objective. Based on research objective, you perform surveys, and that data is given to your analytics box for analytics. So messy reality is usually a very big problem, right? It is multi-dimensional. Okay, it's multi-dimensional. Somehow, one should be able to break it down into one dimension, single dimensional problem. Only then you can conduct a survey. For multi-dimensional questions or problems, you cannot conduct a survey directly, right? Just bear that in mind. All right, then whenever you come up with a research objective, you need three things. You need to bear three things in mind. One is action verb, right? Identify is an action verb. It's a verb. I mean, you need to know a little bit of English as well, right? Then actionable object. What do you want to identify? Say you want to identify the level of satisfaction or dissatisfaction among our customers to our product offerings. It should always be in a single line. Action verb and actionable object is very important. Once you have these in place, you have to convert your decision problems into research objective. And now that you understood the entire pipeline, should new products be introduced? For that, the research objective would be determine consumer preferences to purchase intentions of the new proposed product. Should the advertising campaign be changed? Hey, for this, I need to do a research. I need to determine the effectiveness of the current advertising campaign first. For the problem, which is should the price of the product be changed, you need to do a research. Hence, it is called as research objective. You need to determine the price elasticity of demand and the impact on sales and profits of various levels of price changes. Once you're clear with this, go ahead, right? And here are a few examples which might help you. I, identify is action verb. Actionable object could be problem, opportunities, so on and so forth, right? Describe something, measure something, prioritize something, right? All these are a few things that help you compose your research objective. It has determine, which is a verb. What should I determine? Consumer preferences. Determine what? Effectiveness. Determine what? Price elasticity. So you have a verb and actionable object. Once you have your research objectives in place, you have to start thinking about constructs. So you have your research objectives, start there first. Then you have your information requirements, that is, think about the constructs. What constructs? I'll get there. Once you have your construct in place, based on your research objective, proceed further with survey questions. And when you devise survey questions, you have to carefully, word your questions, choose your question types, sequence your questions properly, have relevant questions, have proper length. You cannot have a lengthy questionnaire, right? Something on those lines. All right. So construct could be, a small example is purchase intention. Where is this coming from? From your research objective. Then you need to think about something called as aspects. The time aspect, meaning your survey question should be something like, I'm most likely to buy this product in next 1 week or next 1 month or the next 6 months, or can say, this is time aspect. Then you also have strength aspect, meaning how sure are you about buying? Absolutely sure, quite sure, somewhat sure, right? So you are coming up with a survey question to address the time aspect. You are asking a question with respect to strength aspect. When you have responses of these two from the customer, you have answer to your construct. And when you have answers to your multiple constructs, you will have answer to your research objective. When you have answer to your multiple research objectives, you'll have answer to your decision problem. And once you have answer to all of your decision problems, right, you can address your messy reality. So people feel that, hey, this is very simple task, conducting a survey. No, my dear friends, very costly, very time consuming. And if you get garbage in, that means if you cannot compose your questions well, you'll get garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. Your analysis will be flawed completely, right? So your messy reality is multidimensional complex object. Your decision problem is also multidimensional. So you're breaking it down into research objectives, constructs and aspects, and for each of the aspect, you have a survey question. And aspects are usually one-dimensional. And whenever you want data for your analysis, you probably want data for a single variable. There won't be direct question, right? For example, you want to capture the information, probably you need a column which says annual spend or annual income of a person. No one would be keen to give their annual income directly if you ask a question. So what do? You ask multiple such questions. Probably one question could be, hey, do you have kids? Yes. Okay, how much do you spend on your tuition fee? For that you'll get one response. And do you stay in a own house or a rented flat? Rent. Okay, how much do you pay? You'll get the second response. Then in that way, when you add them up, you would be able to get answer to that bigger question, which was multidimensional. That's probably, hypothetical, very simple toy example that I've given. Then you devise your questionnaire, which should be short, simple, quick, precise, flexible, easy to share, record, and analyze. Wow, right? Many things in one. You should phrase it properly, frame it properly, ensure there is no bias, validate your questions, ensure it is not too lengthy or too short, ensure that it is not complex, it is flexible, right? Prior research should be done into constructing necessary questionnaire. It's costly. You have to focus on the response rates, and survey methods could go wrong, right? So just a few examples. Which one of the two formulations below would you choose? How much money do you earn? Hey, if someone asks me, why would I answer that? What was your total household income last year, including salaries, bonuses, dividends, and other income? Would I even bother to sit and calculate all these things and then respond? Right? A good question could be, what is your annual household income? Even that, I doubt people would answer, right? So you'll have to break it down into multiple one-dimensional questions and then ask. A common mistake is, please do not assume that the people who are responding to your survey questions have same understanding, and they would have they would understand the meaning of your questions in a similar way. Please do not assume that. That's one key takeaway. Okay, how would you rate your participation during questions? Is yet another example. Versus, this is something. How would you rate? How would I rate? On a scale of what? First thing. Second, even if there is a scale, how would you rate your participation during class? I would always say high or 5. But if the question is, compared to others in the course, how often do you ask or answer questions in class? This would have been a better question. All right, this is all about conducting surveys. Now, this is how you collect the data. All right, what data? Primary data surveys. Then you have experiments. Of course, we have a full-blown module now in our current curriculum for data collection and all these things. This is just a gist. Data collection for experiments. Say you're doing some coupon marketing, be it Swiggy or Zomato or Amazon or even 360 Digit MB. Of course, we do not do any coupon marketing, but anyways. Then there will be multiple decisions to make. Should I provide a 10% discount or a 20% discount? To which discount would our customers react more? Obviously, you would say, majority of them would say 20%, right? This is pretty easy, straightforward. Now let us look at expiry date. Okay, I'll create some kind of excitement, okay, some kind of urgency, and say that, do you know what? This coupon would get expired in next 2 days versus next 10 days. To which one would a customer, react well? Would they say that 2 days expiry, hey, it's going to expire soon, let me purchase something, or 10 days? To which one will I react more? Okay, next. How about combinations? Okay, even before combinations, distance, right? Next. Say I'm doing this promotion within a radius of 5 kilometers and within a radius of 10 kilometers. Which one will work well? Will 5 kilometers work well or 10 kilometers work well? I need to do experimentation now. This is these three: coupon marketing, discount, expiry date, and distance. You're looking at 3 parameters, right? And we are looking at these 3 parameters individually. However, if I look at these 3, factors which have 2 levels each, independently, it's an easy problem to solve. The challenge arises when we combine. What if I say that I provide 10% discount in a 2 kilometers radius versus 12% discount on 3 kilometers radius? Which one will work well? Which combination is going to give me good result? Right? Data, data, and data. You need data to be able to figure out which combination works well. But in the first place, we do not have data here, right? So what people do is they carefully design the experiment. Okay, you have to figure out on what are the various factors, what are the various levels, right? Say discount is a factor, 10 versus 20, right, versus 30 or versus 15. Those are the different levels. Expiry date is a factor, so on and so forth, right? First, you need to have that basic understanding. Then there is, you conduct the experiment to collect the data on how are people reacting to these things. So first of all, you have to do that experiment. It is costly, right? So take example of Swiggy or Zomato, etc. What factors would impact is something that you have to sit down and think, right? What factors impact? Veg or non-veg? For which of these food items should I have a discount coupon in the first place? Then comes how much percentage, right? Does it also vary based on the cuisine variant? If I give a discount on vegetarian food for a healthy diet, would that work well? Or 20% discount for non-veg for something else, would that work well? You also have to think on whether I sending a coupon on a Monday works well or a Friday works well, or a weekday works well or a weekend works well. And what time of the day would it actually work well? Morning, afternoon, night? When will it actually work well? So all these things have to be considered basically, right? Then you do a trial or experiment. How to do this experiment, what techniques are there, and all that are part of our regular training, okay? So here is something interesting which people have done. When they've started doing mobile coupon promotions, and when they have used temporal targeting, that means based on time, right? Same day coupons, there was huge traction. One day there is major change. This is all average. On an average, people have responded very well to same day coupons as opposed to 2-day coupons, right? But when people have done the same thing for geographical targeting, then far off distance, it didn't work well. So maybe 20 kilometers didn't work well. 15 kilometers was okay. But the kind of response that they have received for 5 kilometers, it has done wonders, right? People who are into digital marketing, it makes absolutely a lot of sense, right? But then these are all pretty self-explanatory. Even without analytics or experimentation, you could have arrived at this data. However, when you combine, say you combine temporal and geographical targeting, then something interesting was happening. Okay, what was that? People reacted very well. If the distance is closer, they reacted very well to same day, but rather than 1 day, 2 day was dominating, right? Your coupon will expire in the next 2 days, and then you're close by. That has better traction than your coupon will expire in 1 day. Wow. Until and unless you analyze, you will not get the data. And look at this. People who are far, right, who are in 20 kilometers radius, for them, same day doesn't work. 1 day prior started working very well as opposed to 2 day prior. This is a scholar paper from management science. Amazing, right? And then they have also done by considering 3 combinations, 3 things. Okay, you can go to that particular article and read that, and then insights absolutely changed. That means until and unless you collect the data using probably experiments in this way, you would not be able to use it for your analytics. But how do I conduct experiment, right? So what is experiment in the first place? If you are conducting a controlled test, you're controlling the test that or experiment that you're performing, that's experimentation. You always have to control, right? And then the experiments that we are conducting gives you causality. Remember correlation versus causation, right? A correlation does not guarantee causation. Hope you remember that. And if you want causation to be understood, then design of experiments, right? This and this alone will tell you that X causes Y, right? These inputs will give you this output. These kind of coupons at this time, this day of the week will give you so much of return on investment, right? So that is very important. And there are a few components of experimentation, which is you need to understand what is it that you're treating, what treatment. Okay, first thing, even before that, let's go to step one. You have to look at existence of confirmatory. What is a causal RO, research objective? Then frame a business hypothesis. People who are aware of hypothesis testing, right? You have to come up with hypothesis. Then you need to have clarity on what is treatment. What is it that you're trying to treat? Okay, you're experimenting with coupons. You're looking at the treatment with respect to 10% versus 20%, right? What are the outcomes of interest? What are you expecting as an outcome? How are you going to measure that, right? How are you going to measure the impact of your treatment on the outcome? Then you form two groups. One is the treatment group, another is a control group, right? And then your effort is to make treatment group and control group as equal as possible using statistical techniques such as you do cluster analysis, statistical matching, randomized allocation, etc. And then once you get the results out, you use statistics to infer whether the treatment group is significantly different than the control group or not. This is post your experimentation collection of data. But these are a few things that you need to bear in mind. In a nutshell, we measure the outcomes corresponding to different treatments, and then we infer the difference in the treatment, right? And how is it causing the outcome to differ? Simple. That is all your experimentation means. Is it really important? That might be your question, right? So, I mean, that's all I had, but there is a motivating example that I want to leave you guys with. Okay, there are primarily two experiments, even before I explain you about motivating example. One, field experiments. Another is lab experiments. You perform experiments in lab, in control environment, or on field. Okay, and all sorts of things. If you use your subject line as incentive or some kind of a teaser, which one works well? Including the company name in the subject line, does it improve the engagement? Right? Should you say that in the signature from, should you give your name or the company name? Which one works well? What day of the week people are actually opening the emails more? And when you have an image or a text, what does people, what is it that people are liking? Are people liking GIF images or static images? All these are the kind of experiments that you might want to perform. Okay, here is a motivating example. In the year 2012, during US presidential election, Obama had a team of 18 people, and those 18 people were trying to test 10,000 different email versions basically. What they have done is they've created a lot of subject lines for crowdfunding. Okay, and out of all the various subject lines, I will be outspent was a subject line which has given them roughly 2.67 million. And they have used another subject line which is the one thing the polls got right, that has given them only $0.4 million. Look at that, amazing, right? And did it work? Oh yes. Obama in the year 2012 during presidential election has raised $1.1 billion. $1.1 billion, right? And where did this come from? Roughly 4.4 million donors, right? And do you know what? The other guy who was contesting against Obama was Mitt Romney. The then two people, right? Democratic and Republic. Obama versus Mitt Romney. The amount of funding which Obama's campaign have raised was 4 times more than Mitt Romney, just because they designed the experiment well. Okay, so fine. This is all I had for this session. I know I'm leaving a little suspense here on, hey, can you do us, can you show us hands-on and all that? Yep, certainly. That would be part of our regular data science training. Uh, please leave your review on our Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube channel, right? And then I'll be taking your questions now. Let me